So hello, welcome to my weekly update. It is the 10th of November. I am recording this on a Saturday night. Today at the time of recording it's Telford, so I couldn't make Telford with everything that's going on and sorting things out from the move. It's not going to happen. But what I've done is I'm definitely going to be there next year. My bank account, I have little pots and I can hide pots up and I can have automatic bits of money going through. So I've actually set something up to put £20 a week away into what I'm calling Telford Fund, and that will give me the money I will want for next year. And then in April I'll do Perth. Perth is a Scottish show. It's the one I shouldn't really be missing because it's my local one. So what has been happening this week? So much, a lot. Lots to tell you, but none of them with an expert voice. Let me explain later. So as you know, I am moving in just over a month, and it's getting quite scary because all of this has got to come down. I haven't quite finished recording up to Christmas. I'm well on top of it. And by on top of it, I mean I've got plenty of time. I had planned to do certain videos on certain days while I was on holiday, which didn't always happen. So let me go through the weekly thing then. So Monday we had, excuse my phone, I've got my volume up for some reason. I normally turn it down. I love my ringtone, but it's a bit annoying when it comes in at the wrong time. I shouldn't bother this anymore. So Monday we had Robocop. Robocop issue 4748. That was doing parts 2 and 3 of the Pelvis. And in 2 weeks' time we will have Pelvis stage 4 and 5 and Premium Base part 2, and that will be the last one before Christmas. This coming Monday we've got ET issue 42 and 43. Can't remember what I did on them. It's there at the moment, but I can't remember what we did. It's going to be boxed up as of tonight. I don't know why I didn't do it earlier. I have received the next pack. The next pack looks pretty epic, but Sense says don't start to record it until after I get to the new house. So that first one won't be out until 13th of January. Then we've got a bit of catch up to do. So we've got 2 more ATTs till Christmas. Sorry, I'll still bleat on about Christmas right up to Christmas. Tuesday, so we finished off issue 33 for the Warhammer. This coming Tuesday we've got a simple one. It's a paint episode, Incubi Darkness and Null Oil. If you haven't done washers ever before, give it a look. To be honest with you, most washers are the same, depending on different companies. They're all pretty much the same. Army Painter, Citadel, the Vallejo one. I mean, the only difference between them is you've got acrylic washers and you've got oil washers and you've got enamel washers. I tend to go with the acrylic washers because they're nice and simple and they're easy to make yourself as well. Well, I say they're easy to make. Like most stuff with scale modelling, when you make it yourself, it's so much cheaper, but your first batch is so much more expensive because you've had to buy equipment. Like when I made my thinners, it cost me about 40 quid because I had to buy the alcohol, I had to buy the retardant medium, I had to buy the flow improver, but it works out the equivalent of about 40 pence for 200 mils compared to 7 quid for Tamiya. Basically I'll never buy anything again with regards to that. Spoiler for you, if you've been watching the Warhammer, you may have seen this little guy. make an appearance. He will be making another appearance on this Tuesday, so that's something for my people who watch this. So Wednesday we've got stages 17, 19 of the bus. Next week it's kind of slowing down, because what's happening is there's an awful lot of prep on this bus. I make it no secret, I went into this bus thinking it's a scale model kit. I've done scale model kits. The only difference is this is made of wood. Scale model kits are made of plastic. No, totally different. I'm learning new paints. I'm learning wood techniques, filling, gluing. It's giving me a lot of problems. Now, next week, or is it the week after, I get really bogged down with it. So in order to give you something interesting to watch, I start to create a sub-assembly. And then, spoiler, the last one, 27th of November, again, I'm having issues. Well, this is where it gets funny. I'm having issues with it, and I need more time. So I decide to do another sub-assembly, and then I start having issues with that. So I think I've opened up a big hole for myself there. I'm sure it will all come together. I'm sure I will not abandon. Listen, guys, I'll be honest with you. With regards to the bus, in worst case scenario, I will create a bad model, but I will end up with a bus at the end of it. The bits that I've done really, really well. And I've just, you know what, had my nails done last week, and they're all falling off. Whether that's because of the punishment I give them, I don't know. Right, so Thursday we are... Right, so I brought a new series out. So what had happened was I had planned to get a mystery box, mystery 3D. This is where the story might get long, possibly interesting. In fact, let's do Thursday last because it's interesting. But no, Thursday should be the gauntlet. I've had a chat with Fanhome, and issue 77 is still not in stock, and I've sort of, you know, they don't know when it's coming in. Issue 70 hasn't come in yet. I'm not totally happy, but I've decided to continue with it. So what I might do is because I've got a couple of months now. I'm not going to start it again till January, so we'll get a couple of packs in. Hopefully they'll have finished the finger that we're working on, and we'll just skip straight to the next stage, and then when I get towards the end we'll go back and we'll finish the finger and the side off. And if there's any more problems with the build, surely there can't be any more problems with that build. You know, you get builds where there's loads of problems. There is the odd build. Spitfire had problems with the workings. The Lancaster, I believe a lot of people are starting to report problems with the undercarriage. You know, every build has its issues. You get some builds that have no issues whatsoever, E.T., Robocop, and then you got builds that have enough problems to make up for the ones that don't have problems. But I don't know, I mean, Gauntlet, theoretically it's the easiest build going. Metal panels, screw them together, what could possibly go wrong? So the packs are going to start coming again, but I mean, I'm not going to film any new part works until after New Year. Friday, so Friday is the Lancaster. That's going well. Now it's getting a little bit interesting. So what I want to do is, from the new year, I want to try and build the Hong Kong Lancaster. I want to try and get the bits that Harshett have done, but there's other things I've got to do in order to get it up to that stage. I'm also trying to get up to issue 21 So I'm going to start trying to hit double issues. So when I do a double issue for Hachette, that obviously means I've got a double issue to do with scale models, with the scale model version, Hong Kong, which is awkward because with a scale model you have one session. Now that session might be short, that session might be long. I may give you a single episode one day and it's 2 hours long, and I might give you a triple episode the next week and it's 15 minutes. So it is difficult. So I'm trying to sort of look at different sections. So next week is actually going to be awesome. You're going to absolutely love it. I'm sure you'll love it. Spoiler, it's a double episode. I have purchased a power supply for it. It's not the cheapest power supply going. You can get cheaper, but it has a couple of little features that I like, which makes it a little bit more expensive, and it does the job perfectly. And the second stage of the build is the testing. So if you remember a while back, I did the unboxing of the magic scale modeling parts, and I thought, do you know what, I've had that 6 months. Now magic scale modeling says if you are unhappy with it for any reason whatsoever, return it for your money back within 6 months. And I'm like, I've had it 6 months and I've not even taken it out of the box. Are they going to honour a faulty part? So I'm like, yeah, I better get there and test it. So I've tested it. Spoiler, it's ace. It really is. I loved that episode. So please stay tuned on Friday. Friday we're doing another catch up, and I'm really sorry guys, this Hachette, because it's already come to me partially built up to issue 21, is a lot of it I can't build. I can't remember the actual episodes now because I sat down and filmed all of them, but because I can't actually build them, but I want to go through the issues with you. So rest assured, from issue 22 I will be properly building. Now spoiler, 22 through to 27 I have built. They are ready to go up on the site. All I need to do is do the Hachette versions. So yeah, so there's 3 more of those. One should have just gone up last night, then you've got the next 3 weeks. That's issue 21 caught up with, and then we're gonna get a lot more serious on it, and we're gonna fill in that fuselage. We're gonna get that fuselage glued together, and then that takes us to today and next week, which is the channel updates. So right, going on to the Thursdays. So the idea was to fill in the Thursdays with a bit of figure painting. I've been doing the Warhammer, and do you know what, I've really got the bug back for figure painting. I'm really enjoying it. So I bought this mystery box, which I did the unboxing. Now it's personal opinion. I have tried to avoid saying it's a terrible box or it's a great box. It just, in the end, it wasn't for me. So one thing led to another, and I've ended up buying a 3D printer. Sorry, that's me. Now the 3D printer has just opened up another can of worms, because I've done FDM 3D printing in the past, as many of you will know, and FDM really isn't good enough for miniatures. You want a really good quality miniature. Now I've been a bit spoilt in my life. I'm used to Games Workshop. That's the quality that I'm after. I quite like the bigger ones, but they come with new issues, new what do you call it, situations. So I bought this 3D printer on the basis that the cost of the resin compared to the cost of buying, because let's face it, if you're buying a mystery box for 30 quid, somebody's printing them off, they're making money on it because it's a business. That's how businesses work. They're then paying the postal service to deliver that to you, and then there has to be some money left over for this guy to eat a roast chicken dinner on a Sunday. It has to be, doesn't there? So I looked into it. Now, there was one issue I've got, which is you have to get the resin, obviously, and these slicer programs, they will tell you how much resin you've used. You plug in, you tell it how much the resin costs per kilo. It calculates how many grams that you need to do the print. It tells you how much it's going to cost. Fantastic. What it doesn't factor in is you have to wash them with IPA. Isopropyl alcohol, 99. Well, I use 99%. So after a while, this alcohol gets dirty. You have to dispose of it. You can't just tip it down the sink unless you want to blow the neighborhood up. But obviously IPA isn't free. So, and then there's water washable resin. People have their opinions, and obviously when you're researching, all you can do is rely on other people's opinions. And one of the things I heard about water soluble resin is it's very brittle, which I'm going to agree with. However, saying that something is brittle, you have to have something to compare it against. So when I got this printer, I bought 1 kilogram of water washable resin, and I bought 1 kilogram of normal resin, and the plan was to use both and see how I got on. Water washable resin is more expensive, but then you don't have to buy the IPA. And then the videos that I'm looking at, you know, maybe you do. Anyway, I'll tell you my system in a little bit, which is, you know, you might think it's strange, but one of the things I've learned from watching a lot of videos and watching a lot of different people is there's a certain amount of individual in 3D prints. And what I mean by that is, if I bought a printer and I bought a certain resin, and then you tell me the settings that you use on your printer, it may not work on mine. It all depends on the layer heights, it depends on the printer, the exposure, and all sorts. But the one good thing about 3D printing that I've discovered is the default settings, the exposure set too high, which pretty much guarantees you will get a print. It won't be 100% perfect, but if you overexpose a print, you tend to sort of, it comes out a bit funny. If you underexpose a print, it doesn't print, because it's like with the FDM, it doesn't stick to the layers, don't stick, and you get layers, all sorts of weird things. So at least I'm going to get a print. So the system that I have settled on, as water washable resin is £1 a kilo more expensive, and it works for me, I'm going down the water washable route. So I've sent back the ABS light, partly regretting it. I do want to give it a try. So I have got the Elegoo Mars 4 Ultra. The only thing I'm not happy with is it's got a small build plate, but I am planning on getting another one in the future. I'm going to have to, because there's some epic models come out that won't fit on my build plate. Now, assuming it's the same as the FDM printers, small beds hold less, but they're easier to print with, because if you have 1 mm, you know, you have a little bit of difference between top and the bottom, it's fine because of where the middle is. If you've got it bigger, you know, you have it out a little bit, it kind of magnifies how much it's out. So it's harder to get that bed leveled. So if you get a big bed, you know, if you have a small bed and a big bed printer, and you have a model that will print on the small bed, always go for the small bed, because it's going to be more likely to succeed. So I've got the Mars 4 Ultra, and I bought the wash station, and I've now got a second bucket for the wash station. They're brilliant. It's a plastic bucket, but it's got the little agitator in the bottom, and there's obviously like a magnet in the wash station. When you turn it on, it rotates it, catches on the one in the bucket and that, and has all the wash bucket and everything, and I'm really excited over the little things. So what seems to be working very well to me, let me show you my first ever print, if I can find it. So this is my first ever print. It's nothing exciting. This is a rook which came bundled with the printer. Now it snapped when I took it off. It kind of glued itself to the base. You can see where I was chipping it off the build plate, and then I decided to try and pull it, and I snapped it in half. So you see super glue line there, and there's another one there. So I've had to glue it back together, and because it was open, there's a little helix in the middle which snapped out, and you've got a staircase there that goes all the way up. And if you've never done resin printers, but you've done FDM printers, this is pretty much the same as this is the resin version of a benchy. So you see, I've got a successful print. It does what it says on the tin. It's a rook. Yeah, it's fine. But you'll see lots of bits of chalkiness on it, and I think that's down to cleaning. So what I've settled on now, and this has taken me a while to sort it out. So what I do now, because someone said that you can over cure a model, but you can't over wash it. So now, one of the things I like about the wash bucket is whatever time you set for it, once it gets halfway through, it stops and it reverses, which creates that little splash in the bottom. So I do 2 cycles of 10 minutes. That's then 2 of those stop and reverse things. So, you know, gets the thing going. So they get washed for 20 minutes. Then they go into another bucket with IPA. Now, okay, Penny, you said you were doing water washable to save on the IPA, but now you're buying IPA. Yes. So what the wash of IPA does, it should in theory be clean. The model should be clean, but the IPA is just making sure. So that IPA will last 20 times longer than if I didn't use water. And then I put them on. The other thing about IPA, the models will dry quicker because you can't put them into the curer wet. So I put them onto a paper towel, and I wait for them to dry. Leave them about 5 minutes, turn them over, leave them for another 5 minutes. Really depends on the model, but usually that's about 5 to 10 minutes. And it seems like a long time, but you've just spent 4 hours printing it, which is a bit of a bonus, because this is the other thing about the printers. I'm just starting to get my head around it. With an FDM printer, the more you put on the bed, the longer the print takes. That's an obvious statement, because obviously it has to draw a line over absolutely everything over the entire bed. So if you've got a little bit in the middle, it's just going to sit there. If you put it on vase mode, it just goes woo, and it's done. With a resin printer, it prints the entire layer in one go. So it doesn't matter if you've got one tiny figure or if that bed is completely full up, it will still take the same length of time, which is a bit of a, it took me a while getting my head round. So put it another way, I will show you these in more detail later. So these figures here took the same length of time to print as that figure, because it's doing the whole layer at once, which is a little bit funky. So you got your time saving on FDM if you do it efficiently. If you're just printing off a single Warhammer base, you're better off probably using an FDM. So I don't mind spending the time on the prep. Now what I've done is I've bought a subscription to a company called Loot Studios. Now my personal opinion is they're alright. I've got issues with some of their models, but when I say I have issues, I don't know if it's me or if it's the models. I'll explain. So you can do 1 or 2 subscriptions for $15 a month. Now they charge me $18 because they have to charge VAT. So I guess if you're in America, you'll get sales tax on top of the $15 and whatever. But basically it's 18 quid a month, and you get a collection of minis every month. Now, because it's my first month, you get a welcome pack which has loads of stuff. Now I will be bringing that to the channel because they do a bar tavern, and it's like 1,000,000 pieces. It's a multi-structural house, but it's not going to be printed off because of the size of my printer. I'm only going to be able to print off 2 or 3 pieces at once. So that will get printed and that will get brought to my channel. And then your subscription renews on whatever day of the month your subscription was set up. So let's say, for argument's sake, my subscription, I think that was about 2 weeks ago. So let's say for the sake of argument, let's say I set my subscription up on the 26th of October. It's more like the 20th actually. Let's call it the 20th. So every 20th of the month they take $18 off me, which might be, I think it was £14.50 with conversion. So it might be a little bit more, might be a little bit less. But they release a new pack every 1st of the month. So I am now up to pack 2. So last month's pack, which obviously I got the second I paid for it, I got the pack which is called, let me read this out, Abyssal Haze. So it's a D&D campaign, and they give you all the figures and the props and everything. In fact, I'll show you in another video one day. Now November's drop is called Arthurian Tales, and that's really nice. It is nice because the hero figures are Dindrain, Galahad, King Arthur, Lady of the Lake, Lancelot, Merlin, and Queen Guinevere. So it's a King Arthur themed, and then the enemies are Athok Black Knight, Green Knight, Mordred the Usurper, Morgan Le Fay, Questing Beast, and then the dragon they've got is epic, absolutely epic. I'm printing that off, but it won't fit on my printers. One piece, it's too big, so I've got to wait till I get my bigger bed one. And then you get environment pieces. So you've got the Ark of the Pendragon, the Camelot Archway, loads of stuff. And then you've got props, and the prop is a Camelot Game Master screen. I will take a look at that at one point. I haven't really looked at it. You also get various freebies. Now they do a sci-fi one. I'm not interested in the sci-fi one so much, so I've not subscribed to that. You've also got access to past drops. You get them at $30 each. They sell them for $60. I would pay $60 for them, but because I'm a subscriber, I get them for $30. They have some special packs. They've got one that's $50 for subscribers, and it looks absolutely epic. But yeah, for now it's I'm just focusing on doing a mini or 2 a month. And then yeah, next month I'll get welcome pack number 2, which I have no idea what that is. And I say sometimes when they drop a pack, they'll give you a free figure, so you can print the figure off, which for me is absolutely fantastic. It's no good to someone who wants to do the D&D campaigns, because you can't do much with a single figure. But if you're someone who just wants to paint figures, free figures, oh no thank you. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I have printed off, I've also been looking around. I've got some free figures, and I've been doing a lot of printing, so I want to share that with you. Right, sorry guys. So these are the first figures I was showing you. This is a free sample I got given. This is called Modern Soldier. This is part of a big set of diorama pieces. Now this, I'm told, is 1:35 scale. I don't have much in the way of 1:35 scale, so I can't confirm it, but I know some of you guys know a bit more than me. This is 5 centimeters tall, and it is 2 inches tall. So 1:35 scale, that must be about double scale from HO 1:72. That sounds about right, doesn't it? 1:35, 1:72. So that sounds about right. So now we know the size of him, we will keep him on the bench there as reference. So this is the guy. This is the same guy, but I painted him black and I dry brushed him white just to bring out some of the detail. So that's going to be quite good fun. So in no particular order, I got some of these figures which I will say I'm not happy with. So this one I actually am happy with. This has just literally come off the print bed about half an hour ago. So that's a dwarfy king. I think he's going to need a bit of cleanup, but he's so fragile I lost the end of his axe. That was during cleanup process. So there he is compared to the guy. Now this lady, I lost her staff that she's leaning on, but she is quite nice. I like the way that she's standing on that tree stump. But these are just, I don't know if these just don't work with washable resins, because as you can see they're a lot tougher now they've been cured. Do you know what, actually that might be the mistake I made then, because I've been pulling the supports off before I cure it, and I'll get round to why I've been doing that. But yeah, so that's a lot more tougher now that I've cured it, but it's awfully thin. The next one, he's come out absolutely fine. I thought this was the one that was going to break, but he's got this sword. Now this sword's a little bit bent. It's not as bad as it was, but apparently if you just get a hairdryer on that, just warm it through or put it in hot water, you can straighten that out. So this is one of the success stories of, this is free samples by the way, free STL files. And then this one, I really like the mini, because I really like the base, but I lost it. She's holding flames, and I managed to break it off. But I wonder now, as I'm talking to you, if it's because I pulled the supports off before they were cured. Oh, sorry, I meant to say about the washing. Once it's dried, I give it a 3-minute cure time, and then I give it another 2 minutes, but I turn it over. My cure station has 2 bits coming up, and then you've got one going across the bottom. So what I do is, if this is the UV light at the bottom, bases are easy, so I'll put the base in like that. It'll rotate for 3 minutes, and then I'll turn it like that, and it seems to work okay for me. I think the main issue really is the making sure they're washed and dried. Right, so having done this, my next print, which was my first serious print. Now the Loot Studios, all of their figures they do in 32mm scale and 75, and most of the main characters they will do a bust, and this is the bust, and I'm going to have to zoom out. That's how epic it is. Okay, so compared to our little soldier guy, that's how big he is, and this is really, really nice. There's a story behind him, and I plan to paint this on live streams, which I'll get to later on. But this came out on, I think it was 3 print beds. I think this was one print bed, this was another, and this was the last, and it all goes together, and it's not 100% perfect, but I think that the reason it's not perfect is because of my print settings. I think it's slightly overexposed. You got to remember, I've been printing now for about a week. Well, let's put it this way, I've just started my second bottle of resin, so I printed a total of 1 kilogram of resin, so I really am not in a position to say models are good or bad. But if you look at the gap there, that's not awful, is it? And then you look at the gap there, again, that's not awful. That's easily filled, and that's the only places where I need. I actually thought there's a knot there. You see, he's got this string coming up, and there's a knot there, and it's flattened. And I thought, oh no, it's not printed it properly. But trust the process, guys, because as you put the bell on, you'll see the reason it's a notch. That's just where the bell sits. So I'm going to enjoy. Now they give you this as part of the welcome pack, which is a good idea because they don't need to give this file to you every time they give you a bust, because you just print these off separately, and that goes on like that. So to give you, right, so now I'm having a bit of trouble with this one. Oh, the other thing is they put these holes in. They have to put these holes in so that when you wash them, the water or alcohol can run out. See there, they've got the holes on the inside of the arm. That's not a problem, that'll get hidden. But they've got one on his elbow, and then it's up to you if you want to. I mean, they're fillable. They're fillable. Now, this is the 32mm version of him, and he's got bits of paper stuck to him because the drill holes, this liquid's still coming out. So I've jabbed some toilet roll in there to try and suck it out, to soak it out. So, but this is generally how the 32mm will come out. You get the base as one piece, and they always seem to print the bases at an angle, and then you get the figure as one. Now, the cleanup on this is a bloody nightmare because you get these little posts that you have to cut off, and they just leave a little bit behind. Now he's got 3-point contact with the base, and they've actually indented the base to help it fit, and that is absolutely perfect. Now let me bring in a Warhammer figure for size comparison. This is the soldier for size comparison. So 32mm, that's bigger than obviously 35. Now this, I believe, is hero scale, they call it, which means nothing to me. And then this is the size comparison. So judging by the size of his legs, it's about half the scale, double half of this. And I would suggest if that's 32 scale, that is probably 75mm scale, which makes sense because when they're designing the files, all they have to do is on the CAD software cut the pieces out and just rearrange it a little bit, because look, you'll see the poses are exactly the same. So what they've obviously done for that is they've taken this. I don't know if this will be scaled down from the 75 or the 75 is scaled up, but obviously all they've done is they've just cut the relevant bits out and turned it into a bust, because it is absolutely identical, so you can use one as reference. Now I've attempted to print this off on 75mm scale, and I spent hours this morning sorting the print settings out, and I thought I dialed them in perfectly, and then I printed this off twice and it failed both times. So I'm not ready to print 75mm yet, but you know, I'm enjoying the bust. I'm now looking at painting the busts as part of the live streams, because it's just something I can pick up. This one, it's a combination of interesting. There'll be a couple of new techniques. As you know, I'm trying the new paints out, the new Army Painter paints, and I haven't tried the metallics yet, so there's quite a bit of metallic work on here that I'll enjoy giving a try. So yeah, and I'm really enjoying this. So cost wise, I will see if I can bring this up. Now I don't know if it's my computer or if it's my slicer, but I'm finding that when I run the slicer a couple of times, it really does kill the memory. So screen one, can I share that? Right, so this is my slicing software. I've got it reduced for a particular purpose, but you're not going to necessarily, you can necessarily see. So let's let me show you how and why this works. Loot store, I've got to remember how I do this. So let's bring in it's called Bellhead. You've got, look, so look, let me show you this again. Look, so this is the campaign, all Abyssal Haze. 32 mils there, 75 mils busts there. So the 32 mil, and then you've got enemies, environment, heroes, and props. So there's the heroes, 3 heroes, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 enemies. So this is Bellhead. So I love that name. I mean, I've got to be honest with you, with a name like Bellhead, let's just say I mispronounce it quite a lot. Right, so we just pop him onto the bed, and then you've got a little bit of rearranging to do, as you can see. So far, anyone who's done FDM printing but hasn't done resin printer, I'm not doing anything strange. So as you can imagine, I picked this up straight away. So they come ready supported. Okay, and as you can see, he's actually lifted off the ground. So if you have a problem getting that raft off, yeah, not a problem. Hello, Spirit, are you alright, Missy? Right, so go into your slice settings and do all your variouses. Now, I'm going to bring up my print settings just purely that if there's anyone out there that knows what they're doing. Now, I suspect that no one's going to be able to dispute these settings because it's a case of what works for you, and this works for me. It doesn't give me the best print, but what I've done is I've put in a resin cost of £15 per kilo, and the reason I've done it as £15 is I've started buying my resin now as 2 kilos at a time. It cost me 30 quid, and I am going to have to resize that screen, so bear with me a sec, guys, because you need that side bit. I actually resized this for the Lancaster, but I'll just have to redo it. Missy, you've just jumped off and then jumped back on again. Right, so that's interesting, isn't it? Oh, because I've got the top bit. Sorry, guys. There we go. Right, so this is obviously my slicer screen. Right, so we hit slice. So there's the slice settings. Okay, took me all about 5 minutes to figure out where this was. And then you hit slice. It takes a minute. I mean, it's taking a little bit longer because I'm recording at the same time. Sorry guys, cat just jumped off the table and pulled the cable out. Right, so the bit you need to look at now, let me rescale this. Whoops. Screen one. Right, so as you see, I've got Elegoo Mars 4. So it's got a volume of 47.7, that means nothing to me. So I'm going to be using 52 grams worth of resin, which based on £15 per kilo, that figure's going to cost me 78 pence. Now you ain't going to buy that for less than 15-20 quid. Well, I reckon that's got to be more. Some of these little figures, if you just have a look there, something like that, that's easy 15 quid in Games Workshop. So whatever would they charge for that? Yeah, if that's 15 quid, what's this one worth? Sorry, I'm using the sides. So you know, if I sold that at 10 times what it's cost me to make, £7.80. Can't grumble at that, can you? And the print time, look, I've got to show you. Well, no, I can't show you guys because I can't get more than one on the bill plate. But that estimates 3 hours and 53 minutes. Now I'm going to call that 4 hours. Now something strange happens, and I don't understand this. By the time I send that to the printer, it will go up to 8 hours. I'm trying to get my, here we are. No, front view camera. There we go. So it will go up when I print it on the printer. It'll say 8 hours, but in reality, it'll take probably closer to 6 hours. I don't know how it does the calculations. I really don't. But I can speed some things up and I can slow things down. I can do a higher print level and all sorts. But to be honest with you, a 6 hour print time for a figure of that quality, I'm really not going to complain about that. I mean, obviously these little figures, I just done 6 little figures and that took about 3 hours. Now in reality, if it's taking me 3 hours to do a print, well, by the time I got a game, I'm lucky, I've got a game shop within walking distance of me. Now for me to go down the shopping centre, that's a couple of hours out of my day, easy. And then I'll see something else and then I'll end up buying that. So for an hour longer, print them all at home and it's cost you less money. So I think this is the way to go, guys. So yes, so I'm printing off this one from this company. Well, I actually started it on Thursday, so that'll run for the next 4 weeks. I'm going to be doing the busts on well, we'll see how it goes, because I'm now about to attempt to print the dragon from the Arthurian or Arthurian Tales, but I might end up having to just paint one of the busts. But we'll see how it goes. In fact, I might be able to do the dragon as a bust, because I fancy having a go at dragons, because I'll be honest with you, A, I can't paint dragons, and B, I haven't actually done them much. So, oh, that's a shame. So they only do you know what? I like the sound of Morgan Le Fay. I'll have a look at the figures. So basically, I'm cheating a little bit. When I see the busts, I'll do, but I'm quite liking doing the busts as a live stream, and I can just do them for as long as it takes. But I'll do projects. I mean, I might print all the hero characters off and do one a week. You know, we'll see how it goes. But I'm liking the idea of doing the bigger figures and doing one figure and taking a month to do it, and just do it at a relaxed pace. So last thing I need to bring up, and it's gone almost to an hour now. I am trying to do a short stream one day. So I keep mentioning live streams. This is because I want to do live streams more often. I'm doing one tonight. Sorry, I'm planning on doing one tonight, but then I was planning on doing one last night and things happened. So what I'm planning on doing, I get at the moment 2 or 3 days off a week, depending on my rota. Those days off tend to come together, but not always. So I will be doing, and I work late so I can stay up late. So I am going to be doing live streams. I'll just be painting figures and chit-chatting with people. Every time I have a night off, I will be doing a live stream. And that will start with effect from next week probably. And I'll use that to paint 3D painted figures. Right, so I don't know if there's anything. Oh, guys, so those of you that have been watching for this long, I've got a treat for you, but I want your feedback. I have redesigned the channel intro, which I think I'm going to introduce in 2025. Now, one of the critiques that I've had with my channel intro is it's too long. There isn't really anything I'm prepared to do about that. I have everything squeezed into my channel intro that I want to squeeze in, because I want to, basically my channel is, I do this, that and the other. I'm also here to have fun, and the cats are an important part of my life. As you just saw the cat walk past, maybe I spoiled them, but he's a major part of my life, and if he becomes part of my videos, then he is more than welcome to, as are all of you. Everybody is welcome, so I'm not going to exclude anyone or anything. So I do struggle to reduce the length of the intro, but the current intro that I have, it has everything laid out what I do. This new channel intro is slightly shorter. It gets the fun side across, I think, and it is yeah, I like it. I like it, and it's, like I say, it's got a bit of fun. So let me mute my thing, and then I'll show you the new. Let me get rid of that logo. So let me show you my new channel intro, and I'd love to know your input on it.
Now you whip the record over. You're not sure what you will find.
Well, now's the time that you'll be made aware that we didn't spend much time on this. We didn't think you'd mind,
And if you do,
it's too late now,
and we don't care.
So what do you think, guys? I like that. I think that's brilliant. Obviously I do care, and I do spend a lot of time on my channel, but you know, it actually comes from an old record I found in the 80s or 90s. It's a B-side. I love the song. I just think it's so funny, and I love it. So what I thought I'll do is, one thing I've said before, there's a very fine line between copying someone, or as I prefer to call it, taking inspiration from someone. And one channel that I really do like, the channel, it's a channel called Model Kit Stuff, and his intros, he had problems in the past with copyrights and stuff like that, so he's completely redone his intros, and I like the format that he's done. That's where I got the inspiration to show you what I do on the channel. But one thing I used to do a long time ago, and I don't do it anymore, and that's the American style of doing stuff, where you get straight into the show, and then you do the intro, and then you do the actual main show. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be appearing right at the start and saying, hello guys, today we're going to be blowing up a laboratory, and then we go into the intro, and then we go into the video. So I think that's the way I'm going to go, and we'll see how that goes. Channel analytics, I keep trying to remember and to mention the channel analytics. Thank you to everyone who is supporting the channel. I can't close that window down because I'm actually in the middle. I found on YouTube. I'm getting into old black and white stuff, really getting into it, and I found this this film. It's called First of the Few, but in America it was called Spitfire, and I think I've only watched the first couple of minutes, but it says The First of the Few is a 1942 British black and white biographical film produced and directed by Leslie Howard, who stars as R.J. Mitchell, the designer of the Supermarine Spitfire fighter aircraft. And it stars Plummer. I want to say Christopher Plummer. Oh God, I've just ended up rewinding it all the way to the beginning. I'm sure it's Christopher Plummer. I want to say Christopher Plummer. Sound editor. I'm just playing the credits as I'm filming. Right, so David Niven. I don't want to say Christopher Plummer. So R.J. Mitchell's played by Leslie Howard. Jeffrey Crisp is played by David Niven. Diana Mitchell, who's obviously the wife of R.J. Mitchell, is played by Rosamund John. You got Roland Culver, Anne Firth and David Horn. And I'll give it a watch. And yeah, as I say, I'm really interested in black and white movies now. So guys, if you want to recommend a good old film, it doesn't have to be, I mean, most of the films I'm watching seem to be sort of war related. You know, Dam Busters and what was that one I watched the other week? It was the one about, I can't even remember it now. But yeah, just because they're black and white don't mean they're crap. When I was a kid, I used to be, oh, I'm not watching that, it's black and white. Ugh, a load of crap that is. No, do you know what? That was a terrible attitude to have, and I'm reformed now. So guys, that is it for the week. Still sad that I'm not going to Telford, but I'll make up for. Basically, I could go to Telford, but I'll turn up with about 50p. And I'll just end up having a miserable time. You can't even buy a cup of coffee at Telford, then what's the point? So I shall go next year. Yeah, I was mentioning about analytics as well, so thank you to all the new subscribers I've had. I have gained right, analytics. So this last 7 days I've had 3,000 that was 28 days. I don't know if these figures are good, to be honest with you. 1,000 views. I've had 128 watch hours and 5 new subscribers. Thank you to the new subscribers. I am currently sitting on don't know, no idea, don't know where to tell me. Oh, so I've had a little pop up and it says new achievement, 250,000 views. Okay, so you know, I've released about 2,000 videos, but, you know, I've got there. Now, the one that I'm after, as you all know, I am a YouTube partner. So I can do memberships and I can do super thanks, which is really nice. But I don't like the way that YouTube takes over half of that. So I encourage people not to give me super thanks. The ones I get are appreciated, but I encourage you not to. What I would much rather do, I need another 25 subscribers to hit 1,000, and this is the hard one, guys. I need 4,000 watch hours in the last 365 days, and I'm hoping that the content I'm bringing in the new year is going to help me hit it. Now, because it's year on year, every day I lose the content I lose the watch hours from 364 days ago, and then I gain whatever happens today. So if I had a really successful video almost a year ago, that means my numbers are going to drop. If I had a bit of a lull period and I bring out a good video now, then obviously it'll go up. Now, I was pushing 3,500. I'm now, let's say I'm on 3.6 I was pushing. I'm now down to, I was down to about 350. Now I'm up to, I'm 2 hours away from 4,000. But those stats are correct a week ago. So I don't know. So I'm pushing hard, and I'm trying to get some really good content. And I hopefully the lives will help a little bit. And obviously, if I can push some good content out, if it's crap content, you guys don't watch it. But if I can push some good content out, then yeah, fantastic. So my plea to you guys is just watch a little bit extra for me. Get those watch time hours up. I can then bring adverts. I know everyone hates adverts. Apparently my channel does have adverts, but I don't receive any revenue. And then once I get to the point where I'm receiving revenue, whether I'm receiving £1 a month or £100 a day, that will all then go back into the channel. I promise you that. Because I got no interest in doing YouTube as a career. Absolutely none at all. Because A, I love my job. B, I don't want to turn my hobby into a job. And C, one day the bottom's probably going to fall out of YouTube and there'll be some new fad. And then everyone who's relying on YouTube will suddenly have no money coming in and they've got to go out and get a job. So I'm not interested in doing YouTube full time, but what I am interested in is bringing you content, which I can't afford, and hopefully the channel will help. Right guys, I am going to waffle no more. That is just over an hour, which is, I keep trying to aim for about half an hour, but I don't think that's ever going to happen, is it? Right guys, so those of you at Telford, I hope you have an absolutely fantastic time. I'm not jealous whatsoever. I will see you next week on the 17th of November. Now I might do a live tonight. Hopefully I'm doing a live, and I might do a live tomorrow, and there will probably be another live Thursday and Friday night, and then that takes us to the next week. So take care guys, bye bye. Thank you ever so much for watching.